There is no miracle growth oil, no scalp elixir, no hair repair treatment that is going to grow your hair. Products do not grow your hair. I'm going to tell you why and the actual solutions to growing your hair. To put it really simply, hair growth is down to two things: genetics and lifestyle, providing that you do not have any underlying medical conditions or health problems that would prevent you from growing and retaining length. A good indicator to see if you know if you would have long hair is to look at the members in your family and see whether they actually have long, thick and healthy hair, or if not. And if not, it probably will be a good indicator as to what your hair's looking like at the moment, but not necessarily what you can achieve in the long term. Another determining factor will be your diet and lifestyle, and mainly due to how you treat your hair and your day-to-day routine and relationship with your hair, wash day, and the current styling routine. So let's get into a few of the things that we can do to actually grow our hair and put the products aside, because ultimately products are just something that will help you retain length, but you need to have good practices in place to actually retain and grow your hair. So in terms of your hair care routine, you need to make sure this is consistent, especially if you have any damage that is already there or any hair problems that you are facing. In terms of a consistent routine, you want to make sure you have a good shampoo and conditioner regimen. That means shampooing your hair between every 7 to 10 days if necessary. If you have a protective style, then maybe you can stretch that to slightly longer, but I would recommend shampooing every 7 to 10 days. And the reasons for this is that shampoo is actually where our hair gets its hydration from. And if you have curly hair, you definitely need to make sure this keeps nice and hydrated and moisturized, because if we start letting our hair get dry, that is when breakage happens. As well as your shampoo and conditioning regimen, you want to implement deep conditioners and some hair treatments into that routine also. Not necessarily every single wash day, but maybe every other wash day you use a deep conditioner or a hair treatment as opposed to just a regular conditioner. And that will really give you an intense treatment and an intense moisture boost as opposed to using conditioner. It's really important that we do use deep conditioners and hair treatments where necessary, especially if you have things like dry or damaged hair. You really will want to focus on those two things. Now, after the wash day has happened, now we come to the styling part, and this is quite a crucial part in your routine in determining how much hair length you can retain. If your hair is quite weak, you may want to opt for a low manipulation style or even maybe a protective style as opposed to doing a traditional wash and go. The issues with wash and goes are that it requires you to maybe over manipulate your hair and style it a few times throughout the week, which is generally what we want to avoid when we retain length. In order to retain length, we want to keep the styling to a minimum, because styling can often lead to breakage and loss of hair length. Now, I do have a video on wash and goes and similar things that you might experience during wash and goes, so if you're interested in that, just click the card above. So as I mentioned before, the styling process is going to be one that really does enable you to retain length throughout the week and over a long period of time if you keep that styling to a minimum. That's providing that you are someone who maybe struggles a little bit with wash and goes and knots and tangles and dryness. You may want to opt for some other styles such as twists, braids or K-rows to keep the styling to a minimum. As well as the styling routine, it is important that we are not using anything that could potentially damage our hair on our hair during this time of us retaining length and trying to grow our hair as long as possible. So that means things like heat styling. It means no colouring, no relaxers, because all of these processes are chemical processes which can lead to breakage and weaker hair strands. If you are someone who still wants to use heat, make sure you do not overdo it. Make sure it's only occasionally that you use heat, and you do use a heat protectant along with the heat. So to really sum up the video about why products will not grow your hair, it is because it is ultimately down to your practices. I always say practice over product, because there is no product that is going to repair split ends and mend that damage if you have it on your hair. It is ultimately down to what you do with your hair on a day-to-day and weekly basis that is going to save your hair from becoming weak, damaged, and ultimately break off, which leads to a lack in length retention. Hope you've enjoyed this video. To learn more about length retention, just click the thumbnail at the end of the screen and I will see you in the next one.